check. Stephanie, oh, never mind. I was gonna have you knock on the door, but they got it. All right, is everybody here and we're all set, council members? Everybody's ready to go? All right, so we are 6 foot distanced here. We've got plexiglass dividers, so if you feel comfortable removing your masks, feel free. And it is 6 o'clock. Welcome everyone who's here and who's watching. This is Wednesday, May 19th, our 6 p.m. regular city council meeting. And I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Madam, actually, let me ask the attorney, do we have anything to report out, sir?
Mayor, there's no reportable action tonight.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm going to just read this real quick. The City Council is inviting the public back to attend meetings in person with limited seating. The public is also invited to provide in-person public comments. For information on how to reserve a seat for future council meetings or how to sign up for in-person public comments, please visit the city's website at cityofmenifee.us/agendas. For anyone who's watching this meeting at home, if you'd like to provide public comments, please register to speak virtually by emailing publiccomments@cityofmenifee.us prior to the item being heard. Be sure to identify which item you'd like to speak on, and you'll receive instructions on how to participate in the meeting. All right, Sarah, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Dynas?
Here.
Councilmember Carwin?
Here.
Councilmember Leesmeyer?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobek?
Here.
And Mayor Zimmerman?
And I'm here, thank you. We are on item 3, Words of Inspiration. We're blessed to have Pastor Eric Lang from Valley Christian Fellowship joining us this evening. Welcome, Pastor Lang. We appreciate you coming tonight for some words of inspiration.
Go ahead and close your eyes, bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity we have to just participate in governance. We thank you for these group of individuals that you have placed in these various positions within the city. I pray that you would give them wisdom and guidance throughout whatever is going to be transpiring this evening, that you would give them clarity of mind and the ability to see things that have yet to arisen. We also pray, Father, that we would, with humility and selflessness, seek to do what is the best, what you seek is best for this city. And we just praise you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate you coming tonight. All right, we are now on our Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask Mr. Ed Samuelson, who's here in the audience. He's one of our Measure DD Oversight Committee members, to lead us in the flag salute, if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Okay, we are on item 5. This is our presentations. We have 3 presentations. The first one is 5.1, Older Americans Month Proclamation. I believe we have Mr. Jonathan Nix, who's here to provide the presentation for us. He's going to grab a microphone and help us with this one. I also see we have some of the members of our Senior Advisory Committee that are here too. Thank you all for coming and joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of council. I'm Jonathan Nix, I'm the Community Services Director. Definitely is Older Americans Month this month, and as we do every year, we want to honor all of our older Americans here in the city of Menifee. I'd actually like to introduce our Community Services Coordinator, Aisha Jamat Wilson. She actually coordinates all the activities and services that the city of Menifee provides for all of our older Americans out of the Case Finicero Senior Center. So definitely want to thank the council for providing support year-round on all the services that we provide and all the leadership that you provide. So I'm going to turn it over to Aisha.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. My name is Aisha, as Jonathan mentioned, and I wanted to take the time in celebration of Older Americans Month to kind of highlight some of the things that we've been doing at the Case Finicero Senior Center this past month. We're gonna get the power set. Oh, there we go. So in celebration of our Older Americans Month, the Case Finicero Senior Center in the midst of the pandemic, did not halt a second. We really just had to kind of shift and rethink how we were going to offer some of our services and activities this past year. And one of the things that we know that is, it's really important for our seniors to be always socially engaged, making sure that we're, educating them with the health education classes and also physical fitness classes. Next slide. So this past year, like I mentioned, we've had to kind of shift and really be creative on how we were going to provide our programs. So we've transitioned from our congregate meals to grab-and-go lunches. We've offered virtual activities, and we've also done some drive-through events. Next slide. So 2 of our vital programs and services that we've offered this past year have been our grab-and-go daily lunch program and our monthly food box program. Our grab-and-go lunch program, we've been able to offer 5 days a week to our seniors 60 and above. We've hit a major milestone this past month, and we've serviced over 101,000 meals to our seniors in Menifee.
Wow.
We've been fortunate enough to continue our collaboration with Family Services Association, and we also gained a partner in the Lighthouse organization to help us provide meals during our lunch program at no additional cost to the city. Our monthly food box program is another program that we were able to provide, which actually began in February of 2020, right before the pandemic happened. And it was a service that we were gonna provide to our seniors to kind of help address any of those social insecurities that they have, or missing any, they weren't having enough funds to grocery shop for the month. So this food box program, we offer a food box that lasts approximately 11 to 15 days for a senior that has canned goods, vegetables, canned meats, some grains, milks, juices, and it's approximately about 30 pounds. We were able to collaborate with the Community Action Partnership as well as the OC Food Bank, and we've distributed over 7,000 boxes. And this is another collaboration that was a no cost to the city as well. Next slide. So one of the highlights at our senior center has always been our events and our special events that we do. May it be our a dance, Grandparents' Day, our holiday events, even as the fun as dressing up for our Halloween activities. So we wanted to really think about how could we still keep our seniors socially engaged while being physically distanced, and we've done that through our drive-through activities. So we were still able to partner with some of our community partners and provide activities or drive-through activities, and they still were able to sponsor us and enhance our programs and make it fun for our seniors. Next slide. And moving forward, we're really looking forward to the good times again, and we started to offer physical fitness activities and social hour and some walking classes, health education workshops, and we just recently resumed our utility assistance program through LIHEAP. So we're actually moving forward, and hopefully as the months progress that we're able to kind of resume some of that normal that we used to have, and be in person, enjoy each other's company, and so we're looking forward to that. With that being said, this wraps up our brief highlight. I'm going to hand it over to you, Mayor, to kind of present a proclamation to us.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say, we couldn't magically stop COVID from happening, but we could accommodate our seniors who are staying safer at home with delivery of meals and drive-through and all those things that we did for a year. And I say we, but it was really you and your team, the community services, you guys stepped it up. So thank you. 101,000 meals, that's just a very impressive number. So we appreciate everything that you guys have done.
Thank you.
All right, Jonathan, what do you have in mind for because I know we have a proclamation prepared.
just we thank the city council yet again, for the proclamation and all the services and the leadership that you provided
Okay.
to make sure that we have these services and the resources available for our seniors.
All
So
right.
definitely thank you for that.
Thank you, and you're gonna present that to the Senior Advisory Committee at one of their upcoming meetings?
Yeah, actually, the Senior Advisory Committee is having their first in-person meeting back in this council chambers at actually next Tuesday. So,
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent, thank you. All right.
Right.
So we're good?
you very much.
All right, thank you, guys, we appreciate everything you're doing. And thank you, Senior Advisory Committee, for being here tonight, we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we're moving to our next one, this is Menifee Eagle Scouts recognition. I'm gonna invite the scouts to kind of enter the room once the Senior Advisory Group is out, so that we can keep everybody socially distanced. And maybe for now, how about if the council members come to the front now, and then we'll take a microphone up there. And then what I'll do is I'll ask Sarah to read the scout names one at a time. We'll do a photo, and I believe there's a first one that we wanted to do, right?
We're,
Oh,
we're
do
gonna
it-
do a group
photo
first, but
first.
we can call each of them
And
and
then
you
that
can
first
present
young
the.
man that needs to go. Okay,
Yes.
so let's go on up to the front. Check.
Mayor, do you want to grab the certificates and hand them out as I call them up?
Yes. Maybe Mayor Pro Tem Sobek can help me with this part. So she's gonna call the names, but maybe you can find,
Yeah, I don't know if
Find
I
them
have
as
them in
she
the same
calls
order, sorry.
okay, so gentlemen, come on up. Eagle Scouts of Honor tonight. Come, how about be right in front and we'll be behind you guys. Yep. Keep on sliding over, make some room. That's right. All right, so maybe you and I'll slide up a little bit. And council members, if you can just kind of maybe squeeze in between and just kind of be able to be seen, you guys are tall.
All right, the scouts are Brody Worthington,
Okay, so how about if we do a photo first?
oh, okay, they don't want to hold their certificates?
Oh, okay.
I have Isaac's on
Yeah,
top.
so let's,
We have Isaac's on top.
yours. Brody is next. And Evan is down here in the end, is second to the end. Jarrett. And Joel. Okay, everybody has theirs? Awesome, all right, let's do a photo up. Okay, so we're gonna have the scouts take a seat if you would, and we're gonna have Isaac stay with us, all right? And then, so we can do photos individually, and we'll also ask if there's any family members that are here for Isaac. Come on up. All right. You can just stand right next to your son. I'm assuming he's your son. All right. And so, let me just say something real quick. Isaac, being an Eagle Scout, that is an honor, and we're just very, very proud of you. We're proud of all of the scouts tonight that have earned this. We know that you do community service projects and things like that. Maybe you can just share with us what it is that you did for your community service project.
What I did is I built a VFW sign and put a new one in for the one that was already broken. I think down by Winchester.
Okay, awesome. So with that, congratulations. We'll take a photo with you real quick. All right, congratulations. Well done, well done. Yep, well done. Okay, Sarah, next.
Next up, we'll do Brody.
All right, Brody, come on up. Congratulations, Brody. We would also like to hear about the project you worked on as well.
For my project, I upgraded the recycling program for Santa Rosa. I built blue discs that would help only allow bottles and cans to fit in all the trash cans, or the recycle bins, sorry, that look like similar to trash cans. I did it on all 50-something of them at school.
Nice. Well done.
Okay, next up, let's have Evan.
All right, welcome up. So Evan, tell us about what you worked on.
All right, so, okay. All right, so for my Eagle Scout project, I went to a elementary school and I drew like a painted map onto the pavement, and I think it was good there. I think those kids really liked it. They continue to use it, so I think it was a pretty good project. So yeah. Yeah, of the United States. Sorry. But yeah. All right.
Congratulations. Well done.
We'll do Jarrett next.
All right, Jarrett, come on up. Any family members that want to join you? Please come on up and join us.
What's your title?
Yeah, so she's the chair, president of the school board for Menifee Union School District, Jackie Johansson, and her husband, Kevin. All right, yes, so I thought we were taking a picture. All right, so Evan, I'm going to have you share a little bit about what this means to you and what you did for the Eagles project.
So for my Eagle project, I made a kayaking and water safety video for the city of Lake Elsinore, and they use it for instructing lake goers, and it went on to go to the U.S. Department of Waterways Convention, and is now used across California for a template for other water districts' safety videos.
Good project. All right, we'll take. All right, next up.
And then the last is Joel.
All right, Joel, come on up.
Joe's a twin, his brother's.
Your brother couldn't make it? Okay. And we have your folks coming and joining us. You can take one on either side. All right. Well, why don't you share what your brother did and you, and if you can remember. All right.
All right, so I'll probably remember Jaden's later, but so for my project, I did something similar to Isaac. I built 2 signs that just say, "Thank you, veterans, for your service." And I put them into 2 separate locations. The first one, or actually I made 4 different ones in 2 separate locations. The first 2 are at the Menifee Lakes Beach and Swim Club, since I know the owner there is a veteran himself. And then the other one is at the building right off of Newport Road that sits at the lake house. And Jaden, if I remember correctly, he pulled out all the weeds at a park. I can't remember what the park was called.
Spirit Park.
Oh, the Spirit Park, yeah. And then he began to plant like a new flower garden there. a new botanical garden there. And I haven't seen the results yet, but it was a lot of work and it was really fun.
All right.
So you're a senior, hold on, you're a senior. You're a senior, and do you have any plans?
So plans as of right now, in August, I plan on serving a mission and I'll be going to the Baltics, speaking Russian, for my church. And then after that, after 2 years of that, I plan on going to BYU, Idaho, for college.
Congratulations.
Did you guys want to say anything? All right, so we'll just say, we made these certificates for you. Put those someplace where you can see them and let it remind you of how much we all, the city, appreciates everything that you do, and that we're here to honor you and congratulate you for this excellent achievement of being an Eagle Scout. So well done.
Mayor, if I could, I don't want to miss these. There were two gentlemen that were unable to attend, as stated before, Jaden Southwell and Dylan Steenhoek as well was not able to make it. But they
So
do
we
have
have-
certificates.
We
for
have
them, yes.
certificate coming for them as well. So anyway, we're just so proud of you guys. So well done. Yep. All right, we're going to move to our next agenda item. We're going to stay up here, council members, because I think Gina Gonzalez is going to come on up and do our business spotlight. Take care, guys.
Come back and do great things in Menifee.
So I'll trade it.
Thank you. Gina Gonzalez, Economic Development Director for the great, wonderful city of Menifee. Proud to be here tonight to present our monthly business spotlight. And just as a reminder, this is our free business recognition program designed to create awareness about the variety of local businesses and their contributions to the Menifee community and region. Sorry, I gotta see, and it steams up. So we're proud to announce this month's business spotlight, no other than, I'll give you a minute, Taylor Wealth Management Group. Advisors, Jeremy Taylor and Yvette Taylor, our husband-wife financial planning and asset management team, and two littles, who together own and operate Taylor Wealth Management Group. They brought their practice to Menifee in 2009 after starting their careers in 2004 and 5, and together manage over $150 million and service more than 140 financial planning clients. Providing excellent client service is made possible through the tremendous support given by team members Kamala Davis and Christine Angevalista. Taylor Wealth Management Group delivers personalized financial advice to help clients achieve their current and future financial goals. A main focus is helping clients prepare for and transition to retirement and helping manage clients' assets through the ups and downs of the market. By identifying clear steps, the Taylors can help take the uncertainty out of planning for a client's financial future, working together to help clients feel more confident, connected, and in control of their financial life. Both Jeremy and Yvette are very active in our community and have partnered with the Menifee Union School District to create Project Best Food Forward to help provide new shoes to students in need. And I'd like to also mention Jeremy is also an awesome soccer coach for AYSO. They also supported local affiliates of Together We Rise, a national organization, to help transform the way kids experience foster care. Yvette is a very active member of the Lake Menifee Women's Club since 2007, and she coordinates a lot of great events for the community, and has hosted trainings as part of the city and chamber events to share their knowledge with our wonderful business community. We're very, 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 very proud of our Taylor Wealth Management Group as our business spotlight. And not to mention, you guys are a lot of times our models for a lot of our development videos for the city. So with that, we would like to premiere the 30-second free commercial video as part of this honoring. If that's okay, if we can put our attention to the screens, please.
As As a family business, Taylor Wealth Management Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., understands the importance of taking care of your family's wealth.
As financial advisors, we help our clients feel confident about achieving their financial goals.
Our financial strategies help families across generations build and preserve their wealth.
Let us help you and your family secure your financial success. Call us today.
So again, this video can be used for their marketing promotions, and we're very excited to work with them on developing that and publishing it. With that, the council has a wonderful proclamation. I'm going to turn this over. They have a few words to say as well.
So I've known you guys for a while, and you've been involved in our community for years and years, and so we just appreciate you. But we're very, very, very proud of your business and that you've set it up right here in Menifee. So we have a nice something for you to hang on the wall from the City Council in recognition of your dedication to the Menifee community and your continued commitment to improving the quality of life for our residents. So we're very proud of you. Congratulations. I'll give this to you. If you can. Yep. And we'll take a photo, and then we'll give you guys a chance to share something. So if you want to think of something that you want to say. Nice. And so I'll turn it over to Jeremy or Yvette, whoever would like to speak.
Well, I'll talk real quickly. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to come in here, and thank you for the commercial. It's fantastic. We've been in here since 2008, so we got to see this beautiful building built since we are located in the building right behind here. And we really enjoy doing what we do. We met doing this, and we've created a family doing this, and we've created a lot of wealth doing this. So we want to continue to help our community do that.
Just want to say thank you also. Really appreciate the recognition and allowing our children to be part of this, which is always really fun. And just really how much we love our community. We have looked in other places near to here and have just always wanted to keep what we have going and growing because our community is so wonderful. So just wanted to say that. And thank you to all of you because you're all wonderful too.
Okay, thank you guys. Congratulations. All right, council members, we can head on back. All right, so let's resume our meeting. We are now on item 6. This is agenda approval or modifications. Madam Clerk, do we have any modifications to tonight's agenda?
There are no modifications.
Okay, thank you. Council members, all in favor of agenda approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that's approved. And we are now on item 7. Excuse me, this is public comments on non-agendized items. I'm going to just ask first. Madam Clerk, do we have speakers?
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
good. Yeah, before I read for 15 minutes? All right. All right, so this is the time for members of the public to address the council about items that are not listed on our agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on any single item. For more information on how to participate in the meeting, please see the city's webpage, which is at cityofmenifee.us. The City Council is inviting the public back to attend meetings in person with limited seating. The public is also invited to attend for in-person public comments. For information on how to reserve a seat for future meetings or how to sign up for in-person public comments, please visit the city's website. It's cityofmenifee.us. For anyone who's watching this meeting at home, if you'd like to provide public comments, you must register to speak by emailing public comments at cityofmenifee.us prior to the item being heard. Be sure to identify which item you'd like to speak on, and you'll receive instructions on how to participate. With all of that, Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments on non-agendized items either emailed to you or in person?
Yes, up first is Glenn Turner here in person.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Turner. Let's, Ron's gonna help you real quick, and then I think you'll have 3 minutes.
Is that on? I care about Menifee, and I wanted to warn you about critical race theory. The National League of Cities is an anti-American organization. It's part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement, which is destroying our country. They're a Marxist insurgents, and they want to destroy our government and take it over. They say that America is racist. Well, that's a lie. They want to divide us into warring factions. They will ostracize and try to eliminate anyone who dissents. They will institute so-called diversity training, which is Maoist brainwashing and intimidation. And they're masters of deceit. They will always pretend to be doing good. Some communist groups which operate under the same principles, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the local group READY, Race, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, which is CRT. Don't give them a foothold in our city. Educate yourself on the attacks going on in our country and defend our civil rights like freedom of speech. Look what's been going on at Temecula City Council meetings. In the YouTube video, I'm giving you the links. On November 6, 2020, they listened to the propaganda from the National League of Cities and seemed to agree with it. And then on the meeting on April 27, 2021, starting after the public comments, the mayor and the city council members start attacking those who disagree with them, the citizens, both the citizens and the fellow council member. And I believe it was a violation of the Brown Act. I'm not sure. And I don't want this to happen in my city. I don't want to see all this. The READY Commission is going to do damage. It's like institutional racism. They're going to demand that organizations hire people based on race, not just on their qualifications. It's happening everywhere. You're probably aware of it. And I want to urge you to stand up for Temecula City Councilwoman Jessica Alexander, because who will stand up for you if once they start attacking? So I encourage you to educate yourself and defend free speech and equality of treatment. And I'm providing a PDF document to Stephanie that has a whole list of documents. It's not just me. There are videos, books, a lot of e-books on the subject, and websites. And I'll leave you with a quote. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. Benjamin Franklin.
All right, thank you, Mr. Turner. Madam Clerk, other speakers?
Next up is Don Vasey.
All right. Former Planning Commissioner, Mr. Don Vesey.
Good evening, council members, staff. Pleasure being here for finally. My name's Don Vesey. I'm the president of the Quail Valley Community Group, and I'm very pleased to announce we will start our meetings, our monthly meetings, once again on June 8th. And that will be at the Moose Lodge on Getz Road at 28428 in Quail Valley. That will be at 7 o'clock in the evening. I know that we're going to have some representatives from the city there because they've been to my meetings in the past. Our guest speakers will be Art Marquez from Waste Management and Paul Onifer from, he'll be, I believe he's a part of the developing team for Quail Hills. And that's another housing project going in besides Audie Murphy. I want to thank everybody here for staying well, all of us together. We didn't make it, my wife and I, but we beat it. So we're here. And I want to thank you for not saying, put the mask back on. That's all I have. Everybody, take care. Thank you very much. Remember, June 8th.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vesey. We appreciate the announcement. Looking forward to that. Madam Clerk, another speaker?
Robert Hennings, I believe, is via Zoom.
Okay, that's Dr. Hennings, I believe, from Santa Rosa Academy.
Yes, it is, and I'm happy to report that our boys basketball team are champions of their league and just won their last league game just minutes ago.
Nice. Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations.
And so I ducked over here into a side room to jump on because I want to share with you about Central Park. It's a wonderful venue, and we're very grateful that it's so conveniently located to our school location. It is our secondary rally point in case of a campus-wide emergency that we can gather at. But it has a wonderful stage. It would be an awesome concert venue. I could envision only enhancement after enhancement in terms of possibilities for the city and the community if the stage were to have a shell for it. I can envision community plays, theater productions, certainly our school, which is just right around the corner, could certainly make great use of it. Anything from ceremonies to concerts, performances, award ceremonies, the possibilities are limitless. It would just be that much of a next level enhancement for our community and our city if it were to have a shell. And so that's what I wanted to share today.
All right, we appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Hennings. We appreciate the encouragement.
Next up is Alex Knob, and I believe he has calling in. If IT can get him on.
Can you hear me?
We do.
All right, thank you. This is Alex Knob, and my comments are regarding the budget meeting from earlier today. I just want to say that words are powerful, and words provide the context in the meeting. And what was once called Measure DD, we now call quality of life. And now I can assume the purpose for this change was to change the public perception. And for me, and I venture for every other citizen, quality of life means daily life in the city. And as I live my daily life, I like to leave the home. And to reach any place, I use my car. And this means that traffic is one of the most important factors in quality of life. And now, when I see, increasing in police budgets to staffing of fourth-year levels, I don't want to be seen as the guy screaming, "We don't need police," and please don't misunderstand my comments. The city had a plan. The police department proposed this plan in December. The plan was approved, the plan was budgeted for, and now we're accelerating that plan at the expense of other projects. The question I find myself asking is what the city proposes expenditures is, can I trust the city? And transparency seems to be lacking. I can't answer this question with a resounding yes, because the plan is a moving target. And now, is the plan ineffective or was it uninformed? And we heard the police chief earlier say that they lacked foresight. But that's neither here nor there. What the city needs is infrastructure and proper infrastructure. It seems that infrastructure has taken a back seat to new development, new homes, new shopping centers, and new revenue sources. So we mentioned Central Park. How do we get to Central Park? The Countryside Marketplace, Town Center, the abandoned movie theater, new retail centers, even the police station. We use Newport Road. We have no other roads. And perhaps we could reduce the response times by building the necessary infrastructure to allow the police to get there. Now, the zoning in the city has seemed to create islands of development, houses in every direction, but retail and public spaces are in the center. And it looks to me like from the budget, capital projects get the leftovers. Any surplus is allocated to other areas. And when the city finds it can't justifiably spend money elsewhere, capital projects get some funds. And also the police chief stated that because we had extra money, we could hire more officers and accelerate the 5-year plan. So we need roads, we need bridges. We don't need $200,000 ballistic glass in the city council windows. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate your comments, Mr. Knob.
Can I make a comment? Not to him, but to staff.
Just keep it short.
Yeah, just would somebody maybe reach out to Mr. Knob if he's willing from staff to let him know of what we've got going for capital improvement projects and roads? Would that be appropriate? Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk, do we have other speakers?
Aaron Kapp.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council members, and my name is Aaron Kapp. I happen to be the principal at Santa Rosa Academy. You just heard my boss a few minutes ago, but I also happen to have the privilege of being a Menifee educator since 2004. I have taught many, many families from this fine city. In fact, there's 7 of those wonderful kids that were just here. 2 are at home. 6 out of the 7 of them I know and have at my schools. And so I come at you as an educator invested in this city. I've spent the majority of my career in this city, and I absolutely love this city. Early in 2004, 2005, I met a gentleman named Fred Twyman, and he said to me, well, someday when I run for mayor of Menifee, and I laughed and I said, wow, you're kind of a crazy guy. But, you know, God rest his soul, he had a vision. And what I've seen from the growing city council is a vision, a clear vision. We have an amazing chief of police. We have a police force that is phenomenal. We have roads that have been improved. And yes, we know there were some struggles along the way, but we've been making improvements. When I say that we, I say the collective we, as a city, has been improving. And my point to come to you tonight is to speak about continual improvements that you're all making that I appreciate as someone invested in this community. Invested not just in this is where I get my employment, but I'm invested in the families and the opportunities that we provide for our families. I look at Central Park, as my boss previously spoke, and I come to you to humbly request that we continue to throw some great monies at the projects there involved. The clamshell, as it's known, that sits over the theater stage would be a phenomenal asset to our entire community. And I say that as someone who's worked with your children and your grandchildren for the last 16, 17 years of my career, and I absolutely adore them, and I think that I want the best for them. And so I simply will put that. I will end my time with this. I want the best for all the families, and I would love an opportunity for a place such as the Central Park stage to be an exciting venue for our children, for your grandchildren, for your great-grandchildren to come. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kapp. We appreciate you coming.
Next up is Michelle Aguilar.
Good
Welcome.
evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Michelle Aguilar, and I'm the Director of Ed Services at Santa Rosa Academy. So I guess we're all kind of going together, but I come tonight to share something similar to Mr. Kapp and just ask for your support in the improvements to Central Park. We obviously, it's been a tough year for education. It's been a tough year for everyone, and we are excited to get back to in-person events and have students on campus and be able to plan community events. And we just think that Central Park is a beautiful place, and it's definitely accessible to us as well as lots of members of the community, and being able to be together and outside. And we just feel like it would be a good use of the city's money to add to the amphitheater by adding the clamshell cover. And we can, you know, selfishly a little bit see lots of events that we would love to hold there, expanding theater programs and things like that. So we just ask for your support, and thank you for all you do.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Aguilar.
There are no other requests to speak.
All right, and no emailed comments, non-agendized? Okay, thank you very much. We are now on item 8. This is council member comments and updates. So we'll start down on my right, which is Councilman Carwood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had the opportunity to serve as our city's General Assembly representative for SCAG, the Southern California Association of Governments, for their General Assembly that just occurred. In that meeting, Clint Lorimore was installed as the new president. His name is well known in the government circles around here. I think he'll do a fine job guiding that organization. Some bylaws and things were approved and amendments, things like that. Along with Councilmember Dinas and the mayor, I attended the ribbon cutting at the Calle Tomas Play Trail, which is a new little pocket park that transformed a little section of the Russell's Ranch area, which it looks tremendous. And I was commenting and complimenting our Public Works Department on innovative play structures, not just a standard thing like you see here. I've never seen anything like it. It's a little beehive that you can climb on and over, and it's a good use of the space. And I was really impressed with the creativity of our staff in getting that done. And I believe that was done in-house, right? That was our own staff that did that. So Menifee helping itself, which is fantastic. I have been working with a number of members of the community regarding traffic issues in Sun City caused by the EMWD construction that's going on over there. It's really disrupting folks. It's not permanent. It's going to end eventually. Our fine police department is on it, and when they're not on other calls, they're ramping up. They're ramping up enforcement over there to make sure people aren't taking advantage of the detours and the cut-throughs in communities where that was not intended. I don't know if I mentioned this at my last update, and I don't know how many people in the community have noticed, but in the Krikorian Theater, everybody was talking about the crumbling wall. Is it safe? Is it safe? They actually sent a crew out there and removed the top half of the wall. I know that's going in the opposite direction of building, but at least they were making an effort out there to improve the appearance of it. So I do appreciate the effort on that development, and at least hearing the community and knowing that the visual appearance was unsightly and correcting that. So that's, if you haven't noticed or driven by there, that is something that's been done, and it's tangible, and I appreciate that. And then finally, I had an opportunity over the weekend to talk to some council members of other cities in Southern California, specifically Redondo Beach, Hanford, and Calamasa, and talk to them about what's going on in their city compared to what's going on in our city. And I felt a little guilty telling them about how well things were going here, because there's a lot of complaints from other communities, and hearing council members' frustrations in dealing with acrimony on their particular city councils and conflicts between council and staff and corruption and all of those kinds of complaints that they have. And I sat there and I said, I got to apologize. Things are going pretty well here. We've got a really dedicated council and staff that's working with council. So it was nice to get out and talk to other elected officials and hear their experience, and echoing the community comments we've had from our fine Santa Rosa representatives tonight. I agree that things are going in a positive direction, and getting that feedback from other elected officials around the area was enlightening. So, and that's all I have.
Thanks for your report, Councilman Leesmeyer.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd just echo your sentiment. Actually, it's great when people can put egos aside and do the business of the city. So thanks. Just briefly, we had the Public Safety Committee meeting last week, and I'll let Councilmember Sobek report out on all that. There was quite a few new things there, but you're the chair. I'll let you report out on it. And we did host the city of Queen Creek, Arizona. Queen Creek is just east of Phoenix, and they're putting together their own police department, and they wanted to come interview the council and some city staff and talk about lessons learned and visions and ideas and anything that they could capitalize on along our process along the way. So it was great to meet some new faces, and thanks for the chief hosting us over there. That's all I got.
All right, thank you for doing that, by the way. Sure. All right, Councilman Dinas.
Yes, I'd like to put out, I attended my first board meeting for the Southwest Counties Finance Authority, which owns the animal shelter. And I've asked the city clerk to put a couple of charts in your red folder. The budget has been put together, and that is divided amongst the member agencies based on the number of animals that are taken in the prior fiscal year. And you'll see that Menifee is the second highest of all the cities, behind only Lake Elsinore. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Also, that I think in that regard, when it comes time for future agenda items, I'll be asking staff to review the fees that are charged for pet licensings, as well as look into ways to be more proactive and bring those numbers down, so we don't have to spend as much money housing everyone's pets.
Can I question about this?
Yeah.
So when they say animals received year-end chart 2020, so we haven't been contracted with them for them receiving our animals for that long. Is that to say that the animals that they picked up off the road, Or I'm just trying to get clarification.
I think it's just what was been picked up within the city limits for, because we had been contracting for a while, just as a contract before we became member. So that's where those, I would think the numbers come from.
Okay, thanks.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to report out that the city of Menifee partnered with the Menifee Interfaith Council for the National Day of Prayer program that was held at Central Park. And yes, it would have been nice if there was an amphitheater cover, but it was actually a very beautiful morning, and the mayor and I were asked to stand up on stage with the chief, and the church that prayed for our first responders did an absolutely beautiful job and brought tears. And I'm grateful that we live in a city that supports our first responders and our police and fire. So I just want to thank the Menifee Interfaith Pastor Crawford, who led that, and he pulled together an interfaith band, and it was a gentleman, Eric from Habitat for Humanity, played the drums, and there was a lady, Angie from the View Church, who sang, who had a beautiful voice, and there were 3 drummers from the Elevation Church. And I will say that if you didn't know it, you would have thought that they were pros and that they had been playing together for a long time. There was a resident that came over from the adjacent housing development there, heard the music, and wanted to know what was going on, and said, "We need more of this in Menifee." So just a little plug there. I attended the League of California Cities Division meeting, and one of the things that I took away, just one of them, was that as a city council, that we need to be vocal to our elected officials, and there are some bills that are being looked at in Sacramento, and we need to be proactive in our voice being heard, and I would say that to our citizens as well. As Councilmember Leesmeyer mentioned, we held our public safety meeting last week. You have in your packet the summary, but a couple highlights. Our fire CAL FIRE had planned to have our new ladder truck out by the middle of May. There were some things that they had to send back to have fixed and done correctly, and so they're looking at the end of May for that new ladder truck. I want to let you just bring to your attention that, and to our residents who are listening, vehicle theft was kind of up this month from last month, or actually March from February. And just to remind our residents, as our chief and our police officers share with us, do not leave anything in your car that is valuable, even change in your little cup holder. Make sure you lock your cars and don't let them sit there warming up with the engine going. So they just shared that, and just want to remind our residents of that. Just bringing your attention, because this has been a hot topic, false alarms. So there were in April 221 false alarms. Out of that, only 1 was unfounded to be a false alarm. And then Animal Friends of the Valley, we get to hear at our public safety meeting from them, and there is a rise in rattlesnakes. So if a resident does encounter a rattlesnake, Animal Friends of the Valley has a goal to get there within 15 minutes, and if that person can kind of stay in the area in a safety distance, to point them in the right direction where the rattlesnake might be. I did want to give a couple little highlights on our public works that came out of public safety. Traffic signals at 4 intersections are currently being designed, and that's Marietta and Rouse, Marietta and Sun City, Menifee and La Piedra, Menifee and Garbani. And the street project on Adams Street is complete. Let's see, the Premier Community Resurfacing Project will start this month. Another neighborhood who's getting their streets resurfaced. But on the last one that Councilmember Carwin kind of mentioned is that where did it go here? The Eastern Municipal Water District Marietta Pipeline Project started construction, and this is a year-long project. So there are markings of where the alternate routes are, and staff is working hard to make sure that everyone gets through that area safely. So that's on the public safety. Anything I may have missed, Councilmember Leesmeyer, that was stood out?
I think it was recorded. It was reported earlier in the budget meeting that the new motors are here. They're going through training, outfitting, and going to be on the road July 1st.
Yes.
So 4 motors total on the road.
Yep. That was huge.
Yeah, obviously we got our new SWAT vehicle out there, so that's good news.
Okay.
Rattlesnakes, you got that? Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay.
Talked about flock cameras, right? And also the question was asked about animal control cost.
Yes,
and that it was not just the city of Menifee, but all cities are having increases.
All cities are having an increase on animal control, and the other cities have not caught up yet, as Menifee has. So, okay, as Councilmember Leesmeyer mentioned, we were invited to the Queen Creek presentation panel. What was exciting to hear is that several cities have reached out to our police department who are looking at starting police departments, and this is just one, Queen Creek from Arizona. And I just want to, it was nice to meet Randy Bryce, who's the chief of police, and there was Mark Newman, who was a lieutenant, and Tina Brickman, who's a senior administrative assistant, and it was such a privilege to participate on that panel and to be able to share our journey as we created the Menifee Police Department. And kudos goes out to staff and our police department for just doing a fabulous job while they were here for a day and a half. We had a Menifee Better Together recap meeting, and there were total 150 volunteers. I know we mentioned that, but did you know that when you have volunteers, there's a value, and they could only find the 2018 value that you would give per hour to a volunteer, which was $25.43. And so if you times that by 150 volunteers, that's a volunteer value it provides to the city, which then helps in applying for grants. So WellQuest, they had a meet and greet, and we're looking forward to that grand opening and ribbon cutting. I attended that. Round table discussion. I attended yesterday Cal Cities on the reopening of city halls, and as it was said here tonight, I walked away from that meeting. It was a Zoom meeting, but I walked away into my kitchen. But knowing that our city's in good hands and that we're doing good things. There were so many cities having difficulties with council members and with city staff, and we have been open online. We've been meeting. We've kept business going forward, and now this is our 3rd meeting. We've been able to have residents here, and we're doing it. I think we're doing a good job. So that was my takeaway. Today I attended an RCA Executive Committee meeting, Riverside County Conservation Authority, and as of today, it's sad to say that the city of Menifee has lost 172 residents to the coronavirus disease. And I just send out my deepest condolences to all of those families who in our city have lost loved ones here, but also may not live here, but have lost loved ones in other places. And that's my report.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll try to be brief. This is a report out since our last meeting on May 5th. I did attend the National Day of Prayer event at Central Park on the 6th, and also we do our Emergency Operation Committee ongoing meetings. On Saturday, the 8th, I attended Paris Union Management Association's golf fundraiser. Some members of the chamber and myself participated in that. That's for our high school district. On the 10th, there was a League Riverside Division meeting, and Mayor Pro Tem Sobek, I believe, was was there, and some of our staff members, so thank you guys for being part of that. On the 12th, I attended a MSJC City of Menifee collaboration meeting, also RCTC Commission, and I wanted to report out a couple of things that happened at our RCTC Commission. Usually we talk about the 91 and the toll lanes and things, but this time there were 2 items pertaining to Menifee. One of them is we approved an agreement with the county to utilize $1 million of Measure A funds to prepare a PSR, project study report, for the I-215 Ethanac interchange. So as you know, that project is a long segment that connects San Jacinto to Lake Elsinore, and that is one of the segments, that interchange, and so they decided to make that the first segment to receive funds. So that's a good thing for us to see Ethanac's 215 interchange getting started. Let's see, and the county's the lead agency on that, so that's not a city project. All right, and then secondly, we approved an allocation, or RCTC Commission approved an allocation of $150,000 of Measure A funds towards that specialized transit pilot program for the city of Menifee. So hopefully that'll turn out to be something good for our community to be able to do some transit mobility. All right, let's see. On the 13th, Mayor Pro Tem and I went to WellQuest. It was a meet and greet mixer, and we got to tour some of the rooms and see kind of how that's going and meet their staff. That's kind of the management folks over there, and I think they're booking at about almost 60% occupancy already, and so they've got a lot of great interest. So it's nice to see that coming. They announced that there would be a formal ribbon cutting for the entire city council in the next couple of months when they get the whole front area finished up and landscaped. All right. On the 14th, I attended an event that Supervisor Hewitt put on. It was called the Legislative Breakfast to Honor Veterans. And it was over at IHOP, and it was a real nice event. And then that same day, I met the Riverside County Historical Commission members regarding the Salt Creek Trail. They want to do a mural under the freeway in the underpass there that kind of depicts the history of Menifee. So that's kind of a nice thing that the Historical Commission wants to do. And they reached out to some local artists here that are muralists. And so that project's just getting started. They're looking for a little bit of funding to help encourage the muralists to want to sign up and do it. But ultimately, the plan is to have a timeline that depicts Menifee's history, beginning with Native Americans all the way to in the 1960s, beginning of development here. And then on the 17th, I joined our council members, Dinas and Carwin, at the Kaye Thomas Park ribbon cutting, and it was just a really nice event. And today I attended a League of Cities Mayors Zoom meeting where we kind of shared some information. We had a representative from Senator Feinstein's office kind of give some legislative updates as well. So that is my report out. If anybody else has anything else to add, hearing none, we will move along our agenda now. And that puts us on the approval of minutes, item number 9. And so council members, there's actually 2, May 5th and May 5th, and one's our special council meeting, the other one was the actual city council meeting. I think we can approve those together. So if there's no changes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Opposed? Hearing none. Both of those minutes are approved, and we will move to item 10 now. This is our consent calendar. All matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on a specific item on the consent calendar. If an item is removed from the consent calendar, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments submitted or anyone in person for our consent calendar items?
No, we do not.
All right, thank you. Council members, do you have any items you'd like to pull from consent?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, we're going to be doing electronic voting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe we'll do roll call vote.
Okay.
Councilmember Carwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Leesmeyer.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Aye.
Councilmember Dynas.
Aye.
And Mayor Zimmerman.
Aye, that passes unanimously. Let's move to item 11 now. We're on public hearing items. 11.1 is annexation number 37 to our CFD 2015. Mr. City Manager, did you want to introduce the item? I think this is one of our formalities where we're canvassing the voters.
Yes, yes, Mr. Mayor and council members, we have actually a presentation for you. This is the annexation into an existing city maintenance district. The applicant, the property owner, is going through the parcel map process, and that triggers annexation into the district. But we do have a brief presentation for you, and then we have to go through some formalities to get that approved. Thank you. Good luck.
All right.
Thank you, Armando. So this public hearing is regarding the consideration of annexation number 37 for parcel map 37236 to Community Facilities District 2015-2. Oh, thank you. Okay, the project, with the property owners, David Mendoza, Sergio Mendoza, and Rosa Isela Torres, have requested the city to assist them in annexing their property into the CFD 2015-2 to cover the costs associated with the maintenance of public improvements that are going to be built with the development of the parcel map. The parcel map, the property is actually consisting of about 4.77 acres of residential property. Upon annexation, the proposed maximum annual tax per unit, which will be included in CFD 2015-2 as tax zone 37, is about $701 per unit. The maximum annual tax is proposed to escalate at the greater of the CPI index, or 2%. The services which may be funded with the proceeds from the special tax includes the all costs attributable to maintaining street sweeping, pavement management, park maintenance, and graffiti abatement. In addition to the cost of the foregoing services, there are also special tax that may be expended to pay for administrative expenses. This is a depiction of the property that is being annexed. It's located at the southeast corner of Mapes Road and Malaga Road. There are two existing residential properties on the project, but with the parcel map, the subdivision of the parcel actually divides this into 4, and 2 of the parcels that resulted in the subdivision will actually house each of the existing residences. The other 2 parcels will remain vacant. It is anticipated that at built out, the total special tax revenues to pay for the maintenance costs will be approximately $2,802. However, since the subdivision is right now is only to subdivide the parcels into 4, there will not be any improvement built at this time. So the properties will not be assessed until after the improvements are in place.
Question?
Yes.
What's the scope of the improvements?
Scoping agreement?
What is the scope of the improvements?
Oh, the scope of the improvement is actually just minimal improvement fronting Mapes Road, street improvements, and Malaga.
Curb and gutter?
Curb and gutter, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, stupid question, but what are we going to be doing on that small of a piece of frontage for $2,800 a year?
if Shane is here, he can provide a little bit more detail on that. But it will include participation in the use of park, graffiti abatement, and maintenance of the fronting roads.
Correct. Excuse me, this is Shane Spicer with Spicer Consulting. Yes, the majority of it is to be used towards street maintenance, for putting the money away for doing, slurry seal every 6 years, and then street sweeping, but also the parks for the residential use of parks into the park system. Those are the majority of the costs that are associated with the tax. And given the few number of parcels, that would be the reason for the $700 per unit tax rate. Approximately $1,400 of that goes towards the street maintenance.
Thank you, Mr. Spicer.
Are they paying Quimby or something? I mean, I'm just trying to understand this. This doesn't make sense. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's on an island by itself, and I'm just trying to make sense of this.
If you would like me to explain a little bit on the parks, excuse me, the parks condition for new residential is we did an evaluation of how much property that needs to be maintained for the ultimate build out into the parks network for the city. That works out to about $180 to $200 a unit for each new residential property. That being considered, so when new residential comes on, they're going to be using one of the city's parks, and so that money gets put away to help maintain the city's network of parks as future residential development occurs throughout the city. This is consistent with both this district and CFD 17-1.
Mr. City Manager, do you have a thought?
So you got to look at the foundation. It is a citywide maintenance district. So every property that goes through an entitlement process that subdivides land gets to be included in the citywide landscaping or maintenance district. So while we may not need to maintain any of the streets right there in front of that, it is to cover for the citywide needs. That's the way the structure of the CFD is.
Okay.
I kind of know what you're thinking. This is unprecedented. This is the first one of these that we're doing that's kind of not for a residential subdivision of hundreds of homes.
And, yeah, I mean, they're residents that are already paying taxes to use parks. I don't see the benefit, but if they want to do it, it's their vote.
Okay. So the recommended action at this council meeting is for the city council to initiate the annexation of the property into the 2015-2 by taking the following actions: hold a public hearing, adopt a resolution calling the election, hold a special landowner election and canvass the election, adopt a resolution declaring results of the election, and upon approval of the preceding resolutions, amend Ordinance 2015-173 and order the levy and collection of special taxes in the CFD. And finally, introduce an ordinance amending Ordinance number 2015-173 and levying and apportioning the special tax in 2015-1 as it now exists and will exist in the future. That concludes my presentation. And if you have any other questions, we're happy to, answer those questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. So, council members, any questions at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, Councilman Leesmeyer.
So, is it just a general policy requirement that any new parcel map has to annex into the CFD? Is that why they're doing this?
So the premise behind the creation of the maintenance district was that even if you do a small parcel or a 50 lot subdivision, you're incrementally adding to the scope of the service for the future. So whether you're doing a 100 lot subdivision, you're adding 100 homes, or you're adding 4 homes, incrementally you're adding to the workload. in the future. So that's why this maintenance district was created, to be able to formulate a funding mechanism so that we have the funding sources to be able to maintain all those services citywide in the future.
Other questions? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:15. Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence on this agenda item?
No correspondence.
Was it legally noticed?
It was legally noticed.
All right. Do we have any public testimony, either emailed or in person?
No request to speak.
All right, thanks. So I'm going to go through some formalities, so please bear with me. Madam Clerk, are there any persons registered to vote in the territory of the district?
No, there are not.
Okay, and have the owners of all the taxable property in the district consented to holding the special elections on tonight?
Yes.
And do you concur that the special election may be held this evening immediately following this public hearing?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:16, and may I have a motion to adopt the resolution calling an election to submit the qualified electors the question of levying a special tax within the proposed area to be annexed to CFD 2015 Annexation number 37. I need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second. Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do you want to do electronic or are we voicing?
Electronic should
Already
work.
up.
Okay, good. All right, that passed unanimously. Madam Clerk, have you received the official ballots?
Yes, and the ballot vote is yes.
Okay, that's voted yes. And now may I have a motion to adopt the resolution declaring the election results?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
that passed unanimously. Madam Clerk, would you read the ordinance by title, please?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2015-173 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2021-2022 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District number 2015-2, maintenance services, annexation number 37.
All right, thank you. I have one last thing. May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance for annexation 37?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
And it's frozen.
I think we're still on the last question.
It's still on the last one. Okay, sorry, you gave up on me here. Let's do the last one with roll call. Councilmember Leesmeyer,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobek,
Aye.
Councilmember Dynas,
Aye.
Councilmember Carwin,
Aye.
Mayor Zimmerman.
Aye, that passes unanimously. All right, so that gets us to the finish line. All right, let's go to item 12 now, discussion items 12.1. This is our Public Safety Committee discussion. Mr. City Manager, would you introduce the item?
Sure, Mr. Mayor and council members. This item was actually requested as a future agenda item by the council. And we're gonna have our Assistant City Manager, Jeff Wyman. He is a liaison to the Public Safety Committee, and he has a lot of background history on this. So without further ado, Jeff?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. If we could get our presentation up. There we go. Thank you so much. As City Manager Villa mentioned, this was a request from council to come back, an agenda item regarding the Public Safety Committee to come back for discussion. And so I'll start off with a little bit of background. The background goes all the way back to actually just before incorporation. In July of 2008, the council-elect held a meeting and first discussed the concept of a public safety committee. It was item 11.1 on their agenda for that evening. Early general topics of the public safety committee included crime watch, homelessness, traffic enforcement, etc. Since its inception, 2 council members have been designated as the committee members. And the meeting time has mostly been the first Tuesday of each month, held monthly. And speaking of that original agenda, this is from July of 2008. And I've got a nice little arrow there pointing out the item identifying the announcement of a public safety committee. And just kind of a little follow-up, shortly thereafter in 2009 in March, this was an agenda from one of the public safety committees highlighting some of the items they were discussing, discussing Sun City Crime Watch, homeless issues, member comments, city manager comments. Attendees during the early time frame of the committee included the city manager, the city clerk, emergency services coordinator, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department office, and in 2010, the fire chief, crime watch, and code enforcement was added. Committee topics varied across public safety items. Early on, neighborhood watch was a topic, the Explorer post. You can see a bunch of different topics, including fire, police. We've also added somewhere along the line asking school districts to also attend to help coordination. That's kind of been hit and miss over different time frames. We do have currently an MUSD person that is joining us at our meetings, which is awesome. And then also we have city manager comments and committee member comments. Formation documents. So staff has done research on the committee, and we were actually unable to find any formation documents besides the actual agenda that I previously had on a previous slide. There weren't not any resolutions, bylaws, or ordinances that created the committee. The agenda for each meeting, though, is publicly noticed and posted on our city's website and is open for the public to attend. The manner and the structure of the meeting has evolved over time and include relevant public safety topics. No formal procedures have been established for the committee and for the committee to report findings or that yield subsequent policy directives. Currently, the meeting time remains monthly. It's the first Tuesday of the month at 3 o'clock. The agenda summary that is provided in the agenda that recently staff added recaps significant report items, and each reporting department identifies prior month statistics and significant items. Departments reporting at the committee meetings include school districts, fire department, fire marshal, police department, code, animal control, public works engineering, community services and the park rangers, and staff comments and committee reports. So currently, staff does spend a considerable amount of time each month preparing and putting together public safety committee agenda and the meeting, including pulling together information and stats from the previous month. The city manager staff reaches out to all the different departments to collect all that information, coordinates the presentations, if any, and puts together the information and the agenda, oversees each meeting, and documents the meetings for the meeting minutes from each meeting. The agenda has recently been added to also to the city council meeting agenda as an informational item. That pretty much wraps up my presentation. The recommendation from staff is for council to be able to discuss and provide direction to staff if any modifications are desired.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wyman. So let's take questions first, and then we'll have our discussion afterwards. Council members, any questions regarding this agenda item? Councilman Dinas.
Just real quick, this was back at the beginning set up as an ad hoc committee, and it's my understanding ad hoc committees were just for a specific purpose and then would be terminated once that specific issue was resolved or handled. Is that correct?
Councilman Dinas, you're correct. Ad hoc committees have a specific definition under the Brown Act. They are for a limited purpose and for a limited duration. That may, I don't know the original intent of the committee, but that's certainly not what it is now. And it hasn't been treated as an ad hoc committee for years. It does Brown Act noticing and agenda posting and everything as though it is not an ad hoc committee.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item, either in person or emailed?
Yes, we do. Alex Knob is on the phone, I believe.
Okay.
Just a quick one on this. I was noticing that the committee members, it's all city council, and I had the idea that maybe we could include some citizens in this, like some of the other committees that do meet for the city. And just a thought. And lastly, I'd like to say a clamshell over at Central Park would be awesome. I'd fully support that idea. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knob. Any other requests to speak?
No other requests.
All right, so we'll go ahead and open it up now, council, for discussion and comments. Who'd like to start? I have Councilman Dinas.
Yeah.
Since I put it on there, I guess the two issues. One, I guess, is the bigger picture of the subcommittees that the council members serve on. I can only speak for the finance committee. That's the only ones I've ever served on, and usually that's only on as-needed basis to review financial matters before they're brought to the full council. But everything is brought to the full council before any decisions are made. The second one is the fact that sometimes there's a lot of good information coming from out of the Public Safety Committee meeting, and I appreciate the updates. But it'd be nice, to be able to, we don't have the opportunity to ask questions of the police chief and the fire chief and all those that are involved, other than getting the report as an information item only, where there's can't even be any robust discussion on what the numbers mean, where's the trend going, why are we doing this, what's changed, why it's changed, and things like that. And I think that deserves a full council discussion and presentation. But not only that, but having this done on a public basis would then also allow the residents to hear what's going on with their police department, their fire department, and other public safety departments or functions. And I think that'd be important to, I don't know if we need, in my opinion, I don't think we need it monthly. That would just add twice as much work to the staff, and as well as the police chief wouldn't be too happy if I asked for that on a monthly basis. But I think it'd be important, if we could do it on a quarterly basis publicly, then not only the council but the residents see any kind of trends are happening, good or bad, and we can hear the discussion that should be taking place in a public forum as to why things are being done the way they are, why things are improving because we've added more police officers, or we've added more motorcycle officers. It'd be nice for the public to hear that firsthand from the department heads and our police chief on that. So those are my two items that are reasons for asking for this. Unless the public safety I'm not aware of are reviewing items that have to come before the council, or is just getting a report on things that are happening that might be better served for the council and the residents to be done in a public forum.
All right, you make good points with lots of merit. All right, Councilman Carwin is next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was curious about the function of this committee. Not that the information isn't super valuable and that we all want to hear it. It just seems kind of, why is the committee meeting and then reporting to us? Why don't we just get the report directly? You know, having this extra meeting just to make the meeting and then tell us about what happened at the meeting, when would they could just tell us directly? We could cut right to the chase. The fact that, you know, I find it hilarious that there's no formation documents and nobody has noticed it up until now.
Well, that there's a reason that city attorney's not here anymore.
But yeah, I do question I like to cut down on stuff. You know, this seems duplicate work. And, you know, Councilmember Sobek raised it a few meetings ago saying, hey, look, I'd like to have this stuff reported to city council. Well, you're meeting and then reporting it to city council, just meet here, you know, and it doesn't have to be a full 2-hour meeting, just, you know, a summary, a report. I don't know how to do it without making more work, but I mean, the amount of work that our chief is doing for that committee, we could probably do it with less work. If he's here anyway, why make him go to an extra meeting? You know, that's the part for me, is you have staff resources spent. All the people who are at that meeting are here, and they're doing not this. So, I mean, just to have our police chief just sit there in case we get a police question for 3 hours seems a little absurd. So I'd like to see a better use of staff's time and respectful to people's time. That I like the idea of doing the investigation and doing the report. Just do it here. Make another agenda item and public safety report.
More good points. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Thank you. I've thought a lot about this since it's come on our agenda. I've done a little research as well. I believe, well, first of all, I wanted to be on the Public Safety Committee because I wanted to know what was going on with public safety in our city. And I joined it before we had a police department with Councilmember Leesmeyer, and I see that it has evolved. I thought as I attended the meetings, anyone could read the report that's being offered. But then as we formed our police department, we have truly evolved. And I believe that as a council, we all are interested in knowing what's going on. Now, public safety involves a lot more than just our police department when we have our meetings. We have community service reports, we have animal control, code enforcement. We receive updates on engineering, public works, our park rangers. And I believe that as what I would like to see, and I keep asking myself, what is it we need to accomplish? And we have actually gotten our hands maybe slapped a little bit as ad hoc committee, because we'll talk about things that we want to see happen, and we have to remember we're not there to make recommendation or direction. What we need to see now that we have a police department and we have our fire department and we have our park rangers and animal control, code enforcement, we need to see trends that we can make policy. Okay? We have a goal, and it was said here earlier tonight, that we want to be one of the safest cities in California. To do that, we need to work unified as a council and all hear the same thing going on. Transparency to our residents. During the day, I don't think I've ever had a visitor come to the public safety meeting, and maybe having it quarterly presented to us as a special public safety meeting, just like we did today, a special finance meeting, where the public knows it's going to happen. They're invited, just like Mr. Nobbs said, he wants to be included as a resident. Residents can attend. If we're holding a special meeting, they can ask questions. Can they ask questions? They'll be able to make comments. So I believe that we are duplicating some work, that maybe we're having our staff work a little harder. now that they're doing the summary that's added here, and besides all wanting to hear from the different groups, I believe it's time that maybe we make a change for our public safety for the new fiscal year and have it quarterly, just like we hear, just like all those departments, they come before the city council, the public's invited, and we have a special quarterly public safety meeting. So that's kind of what I see, that it's just morphed. And I think that's all I have. I just feel like we need to see trends so that we can make policy to help our city and citizens feel as safe as they can.
All right, very good points. Councilman Leesmeyer.
Sure. So it's great to hear from Bob and Dean. I mean, there was a time when, frankly, there wasn't a lot of council members that really cared, that were engaged in, you know, police and fire and all that sort of stuff. They were just, you know, whatever. I think it's great. I really do. I think it's great to have it. Frankly, it is overburdening for staff. The meeting can just go and go and go. I mean, we had one, it was 2 hours. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking all this staff has all this work to do, and we're wasting their time for 2 hours. I am actually looking at our agenda right now, our current council agenda. It's item 12.1, Public Safety Committee discussion. But we have on the same agenda the Public Safety Report. Why not just leave it the way it is right now on our current agenda? Instead of making a receive and file, there's a staff report. And, you know, Jeff's the chair, so where Jeff's at? Jeff's the host of the Public Safety Committee, if you will. He gives the staff report, and if we have questions, the staff's already here. So why do we need to have another meeting quarterly to do what we can do right here, right now?
Well, my comment on that is the summary is a summary.
But why does it need to be a summary?
I think it would be good for, I don't know, for me speaking, I know how much I've gotten out of the public safety meeting, hearing from each department. And I believe that will give our residents also an opportunity to maybe share thoughts, comments, questions as well, besides just having it as a summary. I truly feel that we want to become one of the safest cities, and to do that, we do need to hear a detailed report like we've been hearing at public safety meeting. That's just my thoughts.
So just a couple of thoughts. I mean, people have the ability to come and speak here right now. I mean, Don's here, Ed and Doug are here. I mean, people can come and talk. The Public Safety Committee report's in the agenda. They can ask questions. I worry, my only hesitation I worry about is we get into the discussions where we start talking about things, and all of a sudden, you know, we start talking about policy, and there's all of a sudden there's a discussion about, well, gee, we need to go take care of this intersection because we've gotten a bunch of complaints, and, you know, now all of a sudden staff is appropriating time to go deal with something like that when they're the experts, and we pay them a lot of money to do that job, to go find the problems in the city. And I don't know, I worry about taking too much feedback and having staff run crazy trying to take care of people.
But isn't that what we're here for?
Absolutely, but we have the venue now. I don't see why we need another venue for it.
So just to clarify, you prefer just to get a receive and file item instead of actually a quarterly physical presentation?
So to be clear, I would say get rid of the Public Safety Committee meeting that's held every month. Change our current council format and take it from a receive and file to a report, and maybe have a staff member give the report, and if there's questions, ask the questions. It's all public, it's all open, it's all right there.
Understood. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify what it was.
Sure, sorry.
Nobody else in the queue? Anybody else? Dean?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
did you give me a chance to hit my button yet? You know, I would support what Councilmember Sobek was talking about, doing it quarterly. I don't know if that might free up a lot of time for staff, as I see the head shaking, to do it quarterly. you know, because we can get lost in numbers doing it monthly, but when you do quarter to quarter comparisons, that was when the trends really jump out at you. And I think that would benefit the staff, you know, not having to do this month at a time, and would give us enough information to look at this month's compared to the quarter compared to the previous quarter, and then see if the policies that we implemented are actually working or not, and if we need to discuss that and maybe change those.
Sounds good. Councilman Carwin?
Yeah, I agree with the Mayor Pro Tem that hearing from the public about what their concerns are for public safety is a really key way to find out what the problems are with public safety. I don't know how having less frequent meetings increases the public's involvement in that process. And the frustrating part, I think, the frustrating part for the public in that is that committee doesn't provide any direction or instruction. So if you go to that committee and you make a complaint, it dies at that committee. As opposed to if somebody comes and stands here and tells us about it, you know, we would take, you know, public comment or whatever at this meeting, we can actually take some action and make recommendations, future agenda, those kinds of things. When you consider that the committee has council members on it, well, then that complaint is only heard by those 2 council members, and that's it. So funneling people's comments and concerns on public safety to this meeting instead of one where they go, I went to the Public Safety Committee and nothing happened with my concern. Why? Because the Public Safety Committee can't make recommendations or direction or order direction, whereas here it can be done. So I would like to see, you know, each of these departments that provide information to the Public Safety Committee can simply submit that to staff, and they can compile them into one report. And the amount of time that we've spent on this issue tonight could have been done as a public safety update from staff. I mean, this amount of time that we've allotted to discussing whether or not we want to allot this amount of time to hear from staff about it, we could have had that update in greater detail than just a summary, and allowed public comment, and in a much more public forum. I mean, you can see how much more well-attended our city council meetings are than virtually any other committee or commission that we have in the city. There's more than 2 people here tonight. And I'm kidding, but as we open more and people become aware, there'll be more public. But people watching online and listening and coming to these meetings, their concerns will be heard, and it's something that we could actually take action on. And I think your concerns are well taken, and channeling those people to this body rather than a supplemental active action base that can't happen, I think would serve your purpose more.
All right, and Councilman Leesmeyer's next.
Wherever we go, I'm ambivalent, frankly. I am only just wanting to make sure I understood you correctly. You don't want to see monthly reports, monthly updates on all the information. You just want to see it quarterly?
Actually, I don't know if you want to call it a workshop or a quarterly report with staff here to go through it, kind of like we're doing with this discussion. You go through the numbers and the opportunity for council to ask questions of that department or function of what, you know, because I went through the report that's on the next agenda item. There's some changes in the code enforcement part that I'd love to be able to ask questions about. Those are the kind of things where we should be able to do that in a public setting like this. Monthly, I don't know if, you know, I'm trying to be aware of staff time, so we don't have to create a position just to do monthly public safety reports to bring out to present. But a quarterly, to me, in my experience, quarterly it gives you a lot more information that you can digest and understand.
Well, I think personally speaking, I'd still really like to see the monthly reports. I think it's really big for accountability. I don't want to spread it out and not know what's going on for 3 or 4 months. It's like, you know, month to month, I'd like to be able to see more trends.
Well, perhaps the higher interest issues can be done that way instead of having to do like the school districts and you know, and those type of things. But the police, fire, the ones that have the most impact on our daily lives, that type of thing. I'm trying to reduce it down so staff can do much, doesn't have to spend, you know, weeks to put all this together for a monthly review, but just hit the important parts of it. That's just a suggestion I'd throw out there.
Okay, before we go to Mayor Pro Tem, I'm gonna have the city manager.
Mayor, I apologize, my finger clicked too fast, but I'd like to make some comments after you have discussion.
Okay, so we'll take Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Well, I was just going to mention that maybe staff is listening to our discussion, and I know we haven't got to hear from the mayor yet, that we make a recommendation for staff to bring back a plan that we can look at and make a decision on after hearing from you, Mayor.
Okay, and let me just ask, what can we do tonight, Mr. Attorney? I mean, if it sounds like we kind of have a consensus that we'd like to do quarterly report and in person so that we can ask questions and things like that.
So Mayor, I was trying to call up the action item, but it's plenty broad for you to do what you know, if you want to tonight say we're disbanding the Public Safety Committee, we're setting up quarterly meetings where we'll workshop this, and in the months that aren't part of a quarterly meeting, we're going to include on the consent agenda a report on, you know, key developments in safety. If you had a motion like that and you passed it tonight, it would be within the scope of your authority.
So we can do it.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to hear.
So, Mr. City Manager, do you want to share some thoughts?
So after hearing your discussion, I think I developed some ideas, and one of them is to come back to you with a plan. You know, I think the reporting mechanism that we have now has gotten to be too big to be meaningful. So what I like to do is I like to take a stab at bringing something back to you with topics, and you know, hopefully begin to build a model that shows, you know, 3-month trends, 6 months trends, so that then that could eventually yield some level of policy on your end. But certainly I would like to condense that report into a more meaningful report. And for that, I think we can come back to you with a model, sort of a model of a report, and some ideas how to report it. And then you can make a decision whether you want to hear from the school district, you want to hear from animal control, you want to hear from other agencies that we've added in the past, or you just basically interested in hearing from our own police department, fire department, code enforcement. And then if that isn't enough, then we can begin to add more departments and to the model, to the report, to the reporting structure. Is that sound like a plan?
We could do that. Let's, there's still some more commenters, so hold on. Councilman Leesmeyer.
So I would just end with,
You are a representative for animal control.
I would just end with our, you know, as a council, our primary functions are fiscal responsibility and public safety. I don't support paring down the information, because now we've taken what we've gotten monthly and we're getting less information about public safety. We need, on whatever we end up doing, we should still be getting the information. And if we want to meet quarterly, we should meet quarterly, but less information I'm not in favor of.
Mr. City Manager, is that something you'd be able to do, is still provide a receive and file for us monthly, but also include, as you're describing, 6-month projections and things like that in a quarterly basis?
Mayor and Council, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
So
I kind of agree with Councilman Leesmeyer that, you know, if it's pretty simple to just put the numbers together for us as a receive and file, and it's not a whole lot of staff time, yeah, it's more information is better than less. But I really like what Councilman Dinah said about all 5 of us should be informed and have the opportunity to participate in the conversations as far as all of those public safety items. So, Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
So I just want to reiterate that besides the council, the public should be able to be invited, and we should have a quarterly type meeting. I'm not sure about a monthly summary. I think we're still adding work. I'd like to make a motion maybe to have staff come up with some ideas and let them talk internally, and then bring back maybe some options to us.
Everybody okay with that? Yep. So Lisa, why don't you make that motion then, what you just said?
I'll second it.
Turn.
I think she
I
just
did.
said it.
Okay.
I did make a
All right.
motion.
So Madam Clerk, do you want to do electronic vote on that, or do you want to?
Yes, I believe it's working.
Okay. Bob, are you up?
I have to vote and second.
Yeah.
I've never been fast enough to second before, so.
You gotta be lightning fingers. All right, thank you. That passes unanimously, and we're looking forward to hearing, Mr. City Manager, do you know when we can expect to see that proposal?
With the next public safety committee meeting?
Give me at least 3 weeks to put something together for you,
Okay.
and I should be able to bring something back the second meeting in June.
Okay. And as far as the existing ad hoc committee that was never really formalized, do we need to take any kind of action on that, or it just sunsets with this?
Yeah, no, Mayor, I think it would make sense to take action, and it's not for any reason we've talked about tonight. It's because you made appointments to the committee as part of the appointment process, and so we ought to take a motion to sort of dissolve those appointments.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll sec-
A second, yeah.
I was gonna let Councilmember Carwin, since he's figured out how to do it.
I'm the only one who didn't say second out loud.
Well, I pushed the button, so there you go.
There you go.
All right,
So just to say that the June 8th public safety meeting is no longer,
Yeah.
okay.
Look at that. We took something off the city agenda. That's fantastic.
For now. Okay, very good. So let's move now to information item, and guess what it is? A public safety report, and so that's just a receive and file, so there's really nothing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on that item?
No request to speak, no.
All right, so let's move to item 14. Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything to report, sir?
No, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Mr. City Manager, did you
You
have
skipped
any-
one, sir.
Did I? What did I skip?
Item 14.
Future agenda.
The way I have it is 14 is City Attorney, 15 City Manager, 16 Future Agenda.
You must be reading your Cliff Notes. No, the 14 is future agenda items.
Why would we do it out of order? Okay, let's do that then. Council members, do we have anything we'd like to add to future agenda requests?
Yes.
Okay,
As I had spoken earlier in the meeting, I would like to have staff look into and report back on, to review the licenses we charge for licensing our pets. I don't know when the last time that was even looked at or how that was developed, but that, and as well as look at ways to reduce the number of Menifee animals that go to the shelter, so we can reduce our costs there as well. That'd be my first one.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Also, we're getting a lot of interest in warehouses, large warehouses and distribution centers here in the city. So I'd like to, as a follow-up to our workshop that we had, have a discussion on those large warehouses and distribution centers, and see about coming up or some best practice standards and policies on what we can so we have we can tell the developers what Menifee would like to see in that regard, and that would include, I don't know what the proper terminology is, but like a truck route plan, so that they know where the trucks would be going, so that they're not going through neighborhoods or anything like that, to make sure that it's done safely and things like that. I know the county has done like a good neighbor policy on that kind of regard, so do something along that line so that we can have, give staff direction, if nothing else, on what to expect.
I'll second it.
All right, very good. Any others, Councilman Dynas?
That's all, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up is Councilman Leesmeyer.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could have a future agenda item to talk about future agenda items. Frankly, not kidding. The first one on the list here is one that I've had on here since July 18th of 2018. So I'd like to have a conversation about when we can start plucking some of these off of here.
Get rid
Or
of
we can either start doing it.
Get rid of the monthly public safety.
Well, I mean, I got one on here to discuss the
Joking.
strategy for phasing out of illegal uses that I've asked for since 2018. So I'm just trying to find out, you know, if we have a process for getting this done. I mean, the public safety one came up just recently, so we're kind of being picky and choosy about what we're doing. So I'd like to try and pluck these down. So I guess that's not really a motion. It's more just like,
Comment,
let's get to work.
encouragement. All right.
So is that a motion to request staff to give us estimates on the future agenda items?
What if they don't get to that for 2 years?
No, that's going to take a couple years. I might be gone by then.
Okay.
No, I'm
we,
good.
we get it, man.
I don't have one.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Sobek.
Yes, I do. We had heard that in June that the Krikorian Theater was going to get started up again, and we haven't heard any updates. And I believe that it would be nice to get regular updates on what's happening with the Krikorian Theater and property.
Go to the planning commission meetings. Cheryl will do that for you.
Is that your that's your motion then?
Yes,
Okay, I'll second.
thank you.
Okay. I may be out of number order here, so bear with me. I'm just checking what's on the screen here. City, future agenda, then city, and then, all right, city manager reports now. Mr. Viet.
Yes, Mayor and council members, I do have a couple of reports. At the last city council meeting, we had an opportunity to recognize the city clerk's office because it was city clerk's recognition month, but at the month of May is also Public Works Recognition Month and Building and Safety Recognition Month, and ultimately Economic Development Recognition Month. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to recognize those departments because all those departments were very instrumental since the pandemic to make sure that we did not skip a beat when it comes to making sure that we inform our residents and we inform our businesses about the restrictions, and our economic development team did an awesome job in making sure that information was out there timely, and also that when the funding came from the state and the federal government, that we funneled that money to the needy businesses. So I want to just be able to recognize them for the good work they did. In addition, Public Works Week or month, our Public Works Department has taken on a lot of responsibilities. One of them is to make sure that we complete a lot of our capital improvement plans. So they've done a lot this year. They paved a lot of streets and they built a lot of signals. So I'd like to take the time to recognize them for their hard work. And ultimately, our Building and Safety Department, you know, with COVID and the fact that we had to close City Hall, we recognize that a big portion of our business plan involved developers and builders, and we quickly transitioned to a no-stop shop in our building department, made sure that we did not close that component of the business plan. They got very creative with inspections. They got very creative with how they intake plans, and to the point where the reason why we are successful today with our revenues and our construction out there is because they really pivoted their strategy to make sure that they accommodated with the COVID restrictions. So I just want to take the time to recognize them for their good work, and hopefully they can continue to do a better job. And now I'd like to ask Mr. Jonathan Nix to come up and give us an update on the Menifee Better Together program that we had a couple weeks ago.
Thank you, Mr. Villa. IT, if we can get the PowerPoint up, please. As they're bringing that up, I recognize that a lot of the council members made very positive comments about their experiences with Menifee Better Together. So I just wanted to take a moment and just recognize all of our sponsors. It's really a partnership event, working with Habitat for Humanity, the Menifee Interfaith Council, Brookfield Residential provided a generous donation this year. But we have a lot of different partners that either give their time, go out there, like Auto Air Pro, definitely the Jim Schultz Tree Services, and Rotary Club, our local Best Buy that are out there actually volunteering and doing a lot of this work. So definitely wanted to take this time to recognize all of them, and then also recognize our continuing partners that weren't able to participate this year, but have always participated all the years before, and we're really looking forward to them participating again. So just wanted to thank all of them, and do that publicly during the city council meeting, and provide that update that we had 750 plus volunteer hours between all the volunteers that were out there. And we collected over 5.1 tons of debris and trash, really helping to clean up the city. And also, we're continuing to partner with Waste Management to provide more of these events. So from here, I'm going to kick it over to the city clerk's office for our next event in partnership with Waste Management.
Thank you, John. Yes, I'm excited to announce our first ever community-wide Spring Shred Fest for residents only, no businesses, please, to come on Saturday, this Saturday the 22nd, from 8 to 12 here at City Hall in the parking lot. You must show proof of residency. You can bring up to 3 banker boxes, no binder clips or other objects in the box. You can watch your documents shredding right here on site. This event, like John Nix said, is sponsored by Waste Management, and I wanted to thank the Community Services Department for the help with this event. So we look forward to seeing everybody.
Good
this weekend.
stuff.
Okay, that's great.
So can I ask Mr. Nix just a question? Is that slide that you showed us, is that going to be put out like a press release or on our city Facebook page that we could share?
Absolutely.
'Cause that's a beautiful, that's a really great information there.
Definitely.
All right, if there's no other business, we're adjourned. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.